Hi, I'm Tate Norris, and last night I placed 14th in the Spanish Fork Regional, and I was piloting Runick Sky Striker. Real quick shout out to a Game Grid Spanish Fork for hosting this, and let's get into the card by card. So starting off with the main deck monsters, we play 3 Ray and 1 Rose. Ray, best monster for Sky Striker. It's recursion, it's quick effect link, so you can make Kagari's on their turn like recycle. Rose, you play it for the OTK, and that's pretty much it. Now for spells, we play 3 Engage, 3 Linkage, 3 Widowmakers, an Afterburner, a Shark Cannon, and a Hornet Drone. Engage, really good starter. In this particular build, because it's Runick and all of the non-engine are spells, these often get to draw you cards, so it's good for like looking for Sky Striker pieces. It's good for fishing for Runicks and non-engine, and just a really good card overall. Linkage is played mainly to dodge hand traps on Hugin. You play this, like, you can either play this to protect Hugin, or you typically play this if you have Hugin, just so you can get into Sky Striker plays. Play this at 3 because I always want to see it, especially when I have at least 1 Runick card. The 3 Widows. This card's incredible right now. It's effect negation. It steals when you have 3 or more spells. This was really handy against Ryziel. You just steal one of their 4s and pray they don't have an extra to make a Duo Driver. But honestly, really handy card to have. Hornet Drones is really good for if you don't have like a Ray Engrave. This is what you search off of Shizuku during end step if you don't have a Ray Engrave. Shark Cannon never came up, but I assume it would be targeted on the rank 7 that Ryziel plays. And Afterburners, it's non-targeting spell destruction and targeting monster destruction. Okay, on to the Runicks. Obviously, we're playing 2 Fountain. You gotta play Fountain and Runicks. It recycles, and it makes all of these live whenever I want them to be. Now, as for the Runick quick plays, 3 Tip, 3 Destruction, 3 Freezing Curses, and 3 Flashing Fires. These are just the Runicks that are pretty good. Tip, obviously incredible for searching Fountain or any of these names. Destruction for banishing 4 and also being spell trap removal, which against certain decks is really good. Freezing Curses never really came up. It is effect negation, but this is I was most commonly using just to summon Hugin. Flashing Fire, really good against Ryziel. If you can keep the level 4s off the field, they will have a hard time making Duo Driver. Alright, to finish off the main deck, we have the non-engine. We're playing 3 Droplets, 3 Triple Tactics Talents, 3 Super Polys, and a Call by Forbidden Droplet, an incredibly good board breaker. The fact that it has a attack reduction effect as well means that it's, for Sky Striker in particular, monsters that don't get crazy big, it helps them break boards quite a lot. Talents is really good in this format, mainly because every deck is cramming as many hand traps as you can play. So this is either shuffling back one of your opponents to hopefully hit one of their starters, or drawing 2 and hoping you get something good. Super Poly, incredibly good removal. It came up so many times today. It's good against Ryziel. It was pretty good against Fire Kings. It was good against Abyssial. It theoretically is also really good against Malice. And Called by. Obviously, this was mainly used to just interrupt hand traps. You want to hit this. You want to hit Ash with this. You want to hit Droll with this. You want to hit Veiler with this. The only thing I actually ever hit with this was a Lacrima today. Okay, moving on to the extra deck. For the Runicks, we play 2 Hugin, 1 Gary. Hugins, you only really need to play 2 of them because you're limited to 2 Fountains per deck. And also, it's a light, which is really important for Azalea. Gary, it's so you can add Fountain back from grave. And this one's a dark, which are both really helpful when it comes to making Azalea. Now for Super Poly targets, we have Mudragon, Garua, Dragostapelia. Never really summoned Dragostapelia. Never came up. This was for like the off chance I went up against like a branded. But even if I did, these two targets are better. So this honestly replaced it with Garua. This was a pretty good card at the regional. The fact that it can deal with lots of Rizal, lots of Fire King, lots of Abyssals, and Murmurs, just that entire deck is really good. And the fact that it gets you a draw one anytime it's sent to the grave. So in Sky Strikers, just any name plus this into one of the link twos gets you a draw one. Mudragon only ever came up like once or twice. It's really good against like the hybrid decks like Fire King Snake Eyes. And to end off, we have the Sky Strikers, 3 Kigaris, 2 Shizukus, Hayata, Kayana, Zeke, and Azalea. Kigari was absolutely an incredible card at the regional. It's recursion and a deck that plays 36 main deck spell cards. It gets incredibly big very fast. And this was probably the most summoned card. Shizuku, honestly a really nice card. This could get you to starters, it could get you to spare bodies. A few things I were doing with it is if I didn't have a Ray and Grave, this would be adding Hornet Drones at the end step, but this could also search for Afterburners if I needed it for next turn. Hayata is simultaneously a starter and a combo piece for the OTK. Only ever play one because there's no need to play multiple. Kana is typically not included in striker lists. The reason I do is it's a name that doesn't do a lot. It is technically a time card, but typically I would link it. Typically this is the linkage target off of Hugin. And for the link twos, we have Zeke and Azalea. Zeke's advantage to your opponent's end phase, which is a very interesting effect because it can remove something until you go next. So for certain combo pieces, this is just really good. And Azalea, it's destruction. This is what won me my final game because linkage does not require a link one to be summoned. Also, what's really good about both of these, they're really generic. This is anything plus a Sky Striker. This is 2 lights and or darks. Moving on to the side, 3 Lancia. Played this for Malice. Played 1 Malice, never saw it. Unfortunately lost that matchup. For board breakers, 2 Lightnings, 3 Dark Rulers. Dark Rulers never really got sided in because most boards that I had to break, I was confident I could do it with just Lightning Storm. But like for crazy combo decks, this would be sided in more frequently. But Rizal is pretty manageable with just Lightning Storms. And obviously Lightning Storms are incredibly good. They can hit either back row, could hit monsters, whatever you want. The time card of the deck, 3 E provisions. That's a good time card. The fact that it can help you gain so many life points is just incredibly good. If you draw this plus like any number of spell traps, this can most likely win you the game. Unfortunately, I never went to time because most of my games wrapped up like fairly quickly, or game 3 started with enough time for me not to consider time cards, but went until time. Lastly, Rivalry, incredibly good Floodgate on Sky Striker. This can stop Rizal, this can stop Murmel, this can stop Fire Kings. Fiendsmith got Shatira, this also hurts, and there were a couple of those. This can just like hurt a lot of decks. Mallets can technically play under it, but only ever played against one of those today. And end it all off, Barrier. Really good against Rizal, and also just like a couple of Synchro or Xyz decks I played. Most times when I saw this card against Rizal or other Xyz decks, I won. But yeah, that is the list. So yeah, that's the Runick Sky Striker. It's a pretty good list. Shout out to Game Grid Spanish Fork for hosting it. It was a really fun event. Hopefully they do more in the future.